The winds of magic are the powerful and invincible currents of raw energy that flow into the world. This ancient, interdimensional force is a form of harness-able, emotionally inflected energy that can be used by a skilled practitioner, such as a wizard or spellcaster, to manipulate and alter the very fabric of the natural world. These capable wizards are taught to harness one of the winds of magic to their will, or they learn the dangerous act themselves. They dedicate many long years, sometimes decades, to study large arcane tomes, mysterious scrolls, forbidden books, or worse. But such power is not wielded lightly. To lose control of this arcane power for even a second is to invite disaster. A miscast caused by a distraction or a misplaced syllable can result in a wizard accidentally immolating himself, along with any unfortunates who happen to be standing nearby. A momentary lapse of concentration might even tear reality apart and open a portal to the realm of chaos, in which the wizard could be sucked through. None are aware of this danger more than the spellcasters themselves. And so, while a frontline soldier risks his own life in battle, a wizard's gamble is far more dangerous, as he risks the eternal torment of his soul if he is to fail. In this episode, we will talk about the greatest spellcasters and wizards in the world of Warhammer.
Hey, what are you doing in my video? Go back to where you came from.
Hey, what about my world?
What? What's wrong with it? Are you from one of those childish games?
That is not true. Hero Wars has vibrant graphics, cool gameplay, and a user-friendly interface.
Alright then, let's give it a try.
Tell them more about it.
In Hero Wars, everyone can find a character to suit themselves. There are aliens, humans, vampires, and even cyborgs. New heroes can be unlocked by playing, and getting started is very easy. But assembling the perfect team to deal with any situation will be a nice challenge, and an art in of itself, as the heroes must complement each other in order to emerge victorious. In Hero Wars, the Christmas magic is in. From December 24th begins the best time to start playing. You can get a lot of presents and cool items, collect new heroes, decorate the Christmas tree, progress through the Advent calendar, and learn the mysterious story. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Here's a question for you. Where can you get 30,000 coins, 600 emeralds, and 5 awesome heroes to start dominating in Hero Wars right away? Too slow. The answer is in the link in the description below. Play Hero Wars now.
The Winged Watchers, the Eyes of Tzeentch, the Feathered Lords. The Lords of Change are the greatest and most powerful spellcasters of all demonkind. These bird demons, servants of the Changer of Ways, are unpredictable at best, and manipulative in their vile plotting. And among them all, Kairos Fateweaver, the Oracle of Tzeentch, the Keeper of the Destiny Scrolls, the Mocking Watcher, is the most powerful. Kairos has infallible knowledge of both the past and the future, meaning he knows every spell in existence, of what there was and what there will be, and can intuit every action before it is even conceived. Fateweaver gained his gift by clawing his way back from the Well of Eternity, a vast depository of all of the knowledge and creation that lies at the heart of the impossible fortress. The citadel in constant flux, made of pure magic, home of the Chaos Lord Tzeentch. After spending years upon years within its depths, Kairos can now see things that are hidden even to Tzeentch himself. Kairos has razed towns and has slaughtered thousands of Bretonnians and elves alike, playing adversaries against one another in a great game of deceit and villainous machinations. Being the most powerful spellcaster among demonkind, he was, is, and will be the right hand of Tzeentch. Being sent from the impossible fortress in service of a dire task, be it the recovery of a significant magical artifact, the predestined destruction of an army, or some ineffable dark purpose, with whispers of destiny constantly echoing in his mind. Said to be the first of the Slann mage priests spawned upon the world, defender of Itza, deliverer of Itza, venerable Lord Kroak, the first of the Slann mage priests spawned upon the world, the eldest of the fabled first generation, the ancient and unimaginably powerful Old One, Tepok, taught Kroak of the winds of magic, and Potek taught him the secrets of the threads of time. Lord Kroak was one among many of the legendary First Spawning who participated in the time known as the Great Catastrophe, the cataclysmic event where a tear between the rifts of space and time was formed, and chaos flowed like a frothing river upon the world. City after fortress city fell to the demonic hordes, setting their eyes on Itza, the first city, and heart of the lizard men's arcane defenses. But Lord Kroak created a powerful energy barrier that crackled with raw power. Demons turned to dust as they assaulted the city. However, after years of constant strain, Lord Kroak could sustain such magical energies no longer, and with a final surge of power, he exploded the barrier outwards in a wave of tremendous force which flattened the jungle surrounding the city. 100,000 demons were banished back to the realms of chaos in an instant, creating a brief space of relative peace. But the remaining horde eventually regrouped and swarmed into Itza. Lord Kroak and his army of Temple Guard prevented the demons from overrunning the Great Pyramid by defending the Bridge of Stars. The Temple Guards fought as he channeled his final reservoirs of energy, preparing his final incantations. As the last of his guard was cut down, Lord Kroak conjured forth a raining fire from the heavens that vaporized the demonkind. Time stood still and stopped flowing as the fabric of the universe strained under the immense outpouring of sheer power. In the end, a dozen bloodthirsters, protected by the dark god Kor, fought through the deluge of magical devastation and reached the top of the pyramid, tearing Lord Kroak apart in a savage act. However, this was not the end. Lord Kroak was so overcharged by magical energies that even death did not hinder him. Set free of his flesh, his radiant spirit soared above the battlefield and shone a radiant light upon the demonic horde, annihilating them with the glow of a second sun. The first city was saved. Although his body is a withered husk, preserved in funeral wrappings, Kroak's spirit is unbelievably strong. The fact that he can still enact his will upon the world, even ages after his physical death, is a testament to his power. It is also written in the tapestries of time that it was he and his peers that taught the first ancestors of the elves how to wield magic. His indomitable spirit and great sacrifice saw him become the first of the relic priests, living on after his death. Lord Kroak is said to be fated to endure until the last moment of the universe itself, closing the great cycle of the beginning and the end.
Amid the darkness and horror of a world splintering apart, the armies of the true creators, we who were ancient at the dawn of time, will march forth once more. We shall sweep away all that is chaos and disorder, for ours is the true path, and none shall defy us.
As the ruler of the great solar city of the lizard men, High Slan Mage Priest of Hexawatl, Mazdamundi, is the oldest and most powerful Slan priest that still lives. He was a student of Lord Kroak himself, and the staunchest supporter of the Great Plan. He has lived for many centuries, and during that time he has read every scrap of available knowledge the lizard men have recorded in their ancient plaques. He has also spent many decades at a time in deep contemplation, attempting to see the Great Plan traced by the Old Ones, and deduce how best to carry it out. Instructed by Lord Kroak himself at the dawn of creation, he was one of the many Slan mages who fought in the Great Catastrophe, when the realms of chaos spewed chaotic energies and demons into the material world. His physical body was attended to and protected against anything that came too close during the chaos invasions of the Great Catastrophe, by the many guardians and inhabitants of the temple city of Hexawatl. Titanic battles were fought during those times, pitching thousands of lizard men against unending hordes of demons of all shapes and forms. Mazdamundi wields incredible magical power. He has been granted insight into what the future may hold through his many decades of contemplation, as well as his adherence to the Great Plan. His raw magical power alone makes him worthy of respect. Ah, the great Lord of Dragons. Caledor Dragon Tamer was one of the greatest mages of his age, and the closest friend and confidant of the Phoenix King Anarian of Ulthuan during the terrible times of the first Great Chaos Incursion. He was a masterful enchanter, and he was one of the first among the elves to recognize Anarian as the chosen champion of the Azurian. Caledor's brilliant mind and unmatched prowess with magic allowed him to create the great weapons at the Anvil of Vol, as well as Anarian's impenetrable dragon armor. The great weapons would then go to the future princes of Ulthuan, signifying their importance and power in the world. Others struggled to see the world as Caledor did, even causing a falling out with his friend Anarian, when he urged him not to draw the Sword of Cain when fighting the returned forces of chaos. Caledor foretold that the drawing of the sword would cause great sorrow to the Azure and to all of Anarian's line. He could see beyond the immediate power of such an artifact, and the heavy cost it bore. At the Battle of the Isle of the Dead, while Anarian fought against the greatest of Chaos agents, Caledor set up a ritual to use the ancient waystones around Ulthuan and create a colossal magical vortex to drain off the chaos energy that was spilling into the world through the collapsed chaos gates at the world's poles. This would prevent demons from being able to easily manifest in their physical forms and halt their assault on the elves and the rest of the world. Unfortunately, the cost of this magical spell was so great that he and the rest of the mages of Ulthuan sacrificed themselves to conjure the great vortex. But in a twisted joke of the gods, for their success in having saved the world, Caledor and the High Elf mages were trapped in the vortex, unable to die, but stuck in an eternal imprisonment made of pure, raw magical energy. He remains there to this day, constantly feeding the greatest spell ever used against the gods of chaos, slowing down their timeless assault on the world. When the Emperor and his Elector Counts muster their armies to war, they call upon the colleges of magic for aid, and battle wizards are provided as needed, as these are a great asset for the Empire, even with all their mysteries and strange power. As the Supreme Patriarch of the Colleges of Magic, Balthasar Gelt serves as one of the advisors to Emperor Karl Franz himself. The title of Supreme Patriarch is not one that is appointed, but rather earned through a trial by magical combat. This means that he is skilled in the ways of war, as well as being a learned wizard. Gelt's preferred school of magic is that of metal, which is often called alchemy. His magical abilities are well known and well documented.
Men of the Empire, I am no warrior priest blessed with the gift of making grand speeches. I am no orator, that is true. But I am not a cold man, despite this mask, frozen in its stern aspect. What we do this day is not just some plot to gain favor for the mantle of Supreme Patriarch. No, there is much more at risk.
Little is known about the true origins of Balthasar Gelt. His character has always been surrounded by a veil of mystery that none dare to truly scrutinize. However, it is commonly accepted that he arrived in Altdorf, coming from Marienburg through a river passage he bought using fake gold he transmuted from lead ingots. Balthasar's true goal was to reach the colleges of magic. His rise through the various levels of magic training was nothing short of meteoric. One of his primary advantages is that he is not afraid to experiment with otherwise established spells and alchemical formulations. This, coupled with his own drive to achieve greater heights, makes him a powerful wizard by any measure of the word. Balthasar Gelt quickly became a great user and practitioner of the arcane arts due to his obsession with the transmutation of metals. This opened the doors for him to become worthy of trying out the Hall of Duels. Balthasar Gelt became the Supreme Patriarch after defeating Thyrus Gorman of the Bright Order in their respective magic duel, while also becoming the youngest man to ever achieve this feat. The Supreme Patriarch is a powerful spellcaster that has been decisive in many of the Empire's battles. He rides a Pegasus across the skies and wields the legendary Staff of Volans, inflicting terror in his victims by turning them into solid gold, or converting their bones to molten iron.
The Supreme Patriarch, mightiest arcane conjurer in all of the Empire. I've witnessed his magnificence turn the tides of battle in but a frightful flick of his fingers. Such is his prowess in the molding and weaving of the winds of magic. During the Battle of Hindenhordes, I saw him kill a monstrous beast, half man, half bull, by turning its heart into pure gold. I saw the beast with my own eyes suddenly falling to the ground. Dead. Its eyes lost. From that point on, it became but a matter of scattering the rest of the routing horde. Trust me, fellow brethren, with him at our side, we will not fail.
In the year 2516 of the imperial calendar, Theodoric Gosse, the Elector Count of the province of Nordland, wanted to expand his territory and had Hochland in his sight. The Empire stood at the brink of civil war. The Emperor personally asked Balthasar Gelt to intervene in this delicate situation. The Supreme Patriarch then travelled to Nordland's capital, Castle Salzamund, as an ambassador of the Emperor himself. Once there, Balthasar secretly transmuted the gold that was going to be used to pay Gosse's armies and mercenaries into worthless lead. Overnight, the power that the Elector Count held over his hired swords and his companies of mercenaries had faded. The men refused to march to war without their agreed payment. Nordland's army was no good, and they had no choice but to recede in their ambitions. As the guards searched for the Supreme Patriarch within the castle, Balthasar had already returned to Altdorf atop his mighty Pegasus. A bloody civil war was averted, but Theodoric Gosse has sworn he will have Balthasar's head in revenge. Needless to say, the Elector Count never got his revenge over the Patriarch. High Lawmaster of Hoeth, Warden of the White Tower, one of the greatest and most powerful elven sorcerers the world has ever known. His twin brother, Tyrion, the proclaimed defender of Ulthuan, is a cunning general and masterful warrior, while Teclis is a master in all arts and forms of magic. Perhaps second only to the legendary Caledor Dragon Tamer himself, few can match Teclis and his magical ability. His magical knowledge is broad as well as deep. He has had centuries to perfect his craft, and he is a sorcerous force to be reckoned with. Teclis faced with the Witch King of Nagaroth at the Battle of Finneval. Nagaroth's Dark Master had perfected the evil sorceress arts over many years, and it showed as lightning streaked across the torn, darkening skies. Clouds gathered with potent energy, capable of stripping mortals to the bone, were buffeted away by magical winds. From atop a blasted hilltop, the Witch King matched Teclis at each turn, spell for spell. This happened until Teclis invoked the power of Lilith. His staff glowed and pulsed with a throbbing torrent of energy as the goddess surged power into him. He sculpted the magic into one bolt of titanic power and unleashed it upon Malekith. The Witch King desperately tried to evade the attack, but could not. The blast descended upon him and burnt away his soul and rekindled the Asuryan's judgment that he had once suffered. To avoid a final and certain death, Malekith cast himself into the realms of chaos in a desperate move to escape. Without their leader, the Dark Elves continued their attack, but were unfocused. Teclis rained down spell after spell onto the hordes of enemies, causing utter carnage as his brother, Tyrion, cut through their ranks like a ship ripping through waves. The Dark Elf army fell to Teclis' arcane barrage, solidifying his place as the true superior mage of the elven race. Teclis' legend will endure long after the heroes of might have been long forgotten, for his actions have not shaped a battle, nor even a campaign, but has shaped the future of the world itself. It was him who taught the humans how to harness the winds of magic for themselves, and the great colleges of magic know Teclis as one of the foundational stones upon which it stands. Also known as the Great Necromancer, the Undying King, the Great Betrayer, Nagash is the creator of the black arts of necromancy and death made manifest into the world. He was the one that damned all the glorious lands of Nehekara into the dead desert it is today. As the most powerful of all the lords of the undead, Nagash can unleash terrible spells that are capable of draining the life of all the living beings it touches. The secrets of his magical spells are recorded in 9 massive tomes known as the 9 Books of Nagash. Each book contains the secrets of one of Nagash's necromantic spells, powerful incantations that allow the followers of the dark arts to raise and control the undead and bind them to their will. Although he was once human, Nagash's long use of Warpstone to enhance his powers has transformed him to a creature more akin to a demon than any living thing. His withered body moves out of pure will and dark sorcery, wielding weapons so huge that no man, no matter how strong he is able to even lift them. There is beyond this eternity another, an existence all of its own. It is dark as the mortal mind is dark, deep as the mortal heart is deep. This realm is sustained by the self. It is a spiritual plane made up of the thoughts and feelings, needs and beliefs of all knowing races. The high-born and the low things that walk the world with the aim of it being their own. It gives back in the form of energies that leak into our world and are harnessed by the gifted in the form of magic and its many refractions. Entities beyond understanding inhabit this dark realm of spiritual energy, this sea of soul fire. They are the behemoths and great monsters of the depths, although our seven seas together are but a teardrop in the dry, dark ocean of the beyond. There they endure, drunk on power, bitter with impotence, curdling in the malefic nightmare of their own existence.
On this channel, we are putting together narrative Total War cinematic battles and Warhammer lore videos. A special thank you goes to our Patreon supporters who help us in the making of more content. You can also join Patreon and earn extra perks while supporting the videos to come. Find the link in the description below. Make sure to subscribe, and thank you for watching. See you on the next one.